what does mean Aiguebelette Lake for you?
Obviously, of one of the World Championship wins that I have is always very special. It was the first time that I was in the Cox's Four, because after Atlanta, Matthew and I moved into the Cox's Four, and so the first World Championships on the build-up to Sydney was very important to us, and we had a very, very good win. But it was also a very difficult week for us that year. Princess Diana had a car crash on the day that we had our first race, and her funeral was on the day of the final, and so there was a lot of news coverage back out in the UK.
Why did you choose that place to prepare Sydney?
It's a beautiful lake. It's really good conditions. Whichever way that it's quite a big lake, so whichever way that the wind blows, there is always somewhere that's sheltered. Nice warm weather, good preparation, and we spent 2.5 weeks here before going off to Atlanta Olympics. But with the World Championships coming up in 15 is really very, very important year, because it's the qualifying for the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
And so from the international body's point of view, and also from the athlete's point of view, you want a lake that is very, very fair, that's going to give everyone the best chance of also trying to win the World Championships, getting their best place in the World Championships, but also getting their qualification for the Olympics.
What are the specificities of rowing in Aiguebelette? With the wind or things like that? You say it's one of the fairest because it's not much wind and things like that?
Every outdoor sport has its problems,
yeah.
And our sport is very much wind related, and at that time of year the winds are light, and it's nice and warm, which is always very pleasant. I've been to some World Championships that have been very cold, very miserable, very muddy. So here in this part of France, it's perfect. And I think people like coming here.
The fact that the region is quite beautiful, and it's important when you come to training camp to be also in a place where the nature and all the around is nice.
At the end of the day, the important thing is about the rowing, about the preparation for major championships, for World Championships, for Olympic Games. But the nature of the sport, it's on water. Water tends to be either rowing courses tend to be man-made courses, which are a bit bland, a little bit sort of boring in some ways. But then you can come to some picturesque places like Lucerne, and here at Aiguebelette, where the scenery is fantastic. I always remember that because of the high cliff, you have the parrot descenders, and then they sort of making their way down, and then when you get the change of weather coming over the mountains, and you see them all coming down really fast, it makes it sort of pleasant. But the environment is very important, and I'm sure that the region of France that Aiguebellette's in is that they're very proud of the scenery and want to keep it in fantastic shape. And as us as a sport, don't want to interrupt that.
You still worry?
No.
Never?
I was in Brazil last week before coming here, and I went down to one of the rowing clubs and gave a little talk, and went out in the Cox's Four and rowed on the Olympic course. That was the first time this year. Last year I went out in a rowing boat 4 times, and that was 4 times in the last 4 years. So in 4.5 years I've rowed 5 times. Going into Lyon, and when you come into Lyon you go past Aiguebelette on the way to the mountains, and so that you're always sort of looking to see what the water conditions are of memories when I was racing there. It's a very, very special area for me, from the rowing but also from the skiing.
Thank you very much.